Houston, we have a Dolphin.
Hello, I know I don't have an awful lot of viewers today, but still, thank you for being here. And hey, I'm glad to show you a few things today. So the first thing we're going to focus on is the app and how it works, what it has to offer, if there's some things that you can tune or maybe not. And I just want to make sure that you find the things in the app when you need them. I have a device here and it also has the app installed. So if you would want to find the game on your device, so if you would want to find the app on the App Store, you would Google for Houston, we have a Dolphin within the Play Store, and then you would find it here. In my case, it's already installed. That's why it looks a bit different. But on the Android store, it would be a totally similar story. So the only thing that you have to do in this case is to press install. If you're super unlucky, you would have to make some space on your phone because it needs maybe 70 megabytes. And then once it's downloaded, you can basically open it. And it will start with a tiny introduction video. And then we find ourselves in the main menu. And I will turn the sound down right here, but I will show you how to do this in the settings later on too. You can play the tutorial and that would explain the game to you. So if it's your very first evening with friends, I totally recommend it. If one of you knows the game, you might maybe not do it and just play a quick game and let someone explain it on the fly, but that's totally up to you. Either works. The quick start is something that we hope that many of you will just press when they want to play and they don't want to set up the game in a complex manner. They just want to play with all the cards that they unlocked and just go straight into the game. And then you could also play the custom game. And the custom game is a game mode where you can actually set up pretty much everything. You can set up which types of cards are in the game and if you want a short game or a long game. And also if you have modifications, the panic mode, for example, is a variation of the game, then you can set it here. Yeah, but let's go to the lower part of the screen. In that one you will find that there's achievements, settings and add-ons. And also you will find my name here, Andrew Wilde, but this is because I'm logged in already. So see the device again, great. So if you press on login or whatever it says down here where my name is right now, then you would get into a menu where you can register your account or you can just log into your account with the same password that you might already know from Soviet Kitchen. I could also change my password here if I like to. But I won't do that right now because I'm super happy to be logged in and that everything's set up. You might be wondering, why would I even do that? Why would I register? I don't want to register, I want to play, right? And I totally agree. And you can obviously just do that. You can play and you can also play everything. The thing is that this game will screen your success. You can unlock pieces of the game on the go, and if you want to make sure that you cannot lose anything from your game, then it's super beneficial to have the account. You know, you can even have multiple devices with the same account. You can delete it whenever you feel like your phone is too charged with stuff and install later, log in into your account again, and there you have it. Also, if you go on our website, HYBR.co, you can find a space that is called My HYBR, and there you will find some statistics about how many games you have played, and so forth. But that should be that for now. Let's look at what you can do no matter if you have an account or not. So on the very left here we have the achievement button, and if you press that one you will see all the things that you have done in the game during play. And if you would look closely here you would also see some things that you can unlock, but I have everything unlocked already because I've been playtesting. So there's some progresses, actual progresses that deliver cards, that deliver alternative soundtracks, that deliver alternative game modes, but there's also just random achievements as you might know them from Steam or as you might know them from your PlayStation. Assumedly I don't even have a PlayStation, to be honest. And Bart is always very funny with what he writes here. Enough for the achievements, and let's have a look in the settings. Because these settings, they compared to Soviet Kitchen, they grew. There's more to check here than ever before, but also you don't have to. So it's not like a must to be super super expert about these options, but feel free to have a look if you can find something that makes the game even more enjoyable to you. Like right now I feel like the sound is not helping me whilst talking, so I could decide to turn the sound off. I could also decide to leave the sound on but make only the music off, which would be a very similar effect right now in the menu, but in the game later there's also other types of sounds. Anyways, I will just leave the sound off for now. Then you can decide whether you want to play the intro movie or not, if it just annoys you, but you can also click it away fairly easy. And there's these screen settings. There's only one setting that you can set here, and this one is quite interesting. It's concerning the charger, because if you look at the board from a bit higher, you could have the cable in your way when you're unlucky. E.g. there's the cable right now. That's the right cable to charge this phone. And if I would plug that one in here, I have a tiny problem that this cable crosses my card slot B. So you might want to turn your phone around actually in that case, so that the cable goes like outside, that the cable goes outside of your play area, which is much better as you can see already. And therefore we have that option that you can turn the screen upside down, or it can ask you whenever you put the cable in, or you can turn the feature fully off. But it's usually on ask. But on some devices it won't make sense because the charger is on the side of the phone, and then you wouldn't need it to ask every time, so you can disable it to never. But I'll keep it on ask and show you during the game again what it means. And let's turn this phone back around to where it belongs. And yeah, you can turn on vibration on and off. You can show hints during gameplay. These hints, they refer to guided play. Guided play is our assisted gameplay helper. You can turn it on and it will fill a part of the screen with text that will tell you what to do next. It's always helpful, but if you have played the game once, twice, maybe 3 times, it might not serve you anymore. So you can turn it on here for initialization, for the setup, but you can also turn it on and off during gameplay anytime. But you'll see that. And lately, show tutorial in main menu. This one is a new setting that my developer Bart put in, and I haven't even seen it yet. And let's check if it works. Oh, that's nice. It makes the main screen a bit more elegant if you're into that kind of thing. Funny, But I might use the tutorial later in this video, so let's keep it on for now, not to confuse me. And then there's languages. Right now there's only German and English. Polish is already on its way. Spanish is almost ready. And about other languages we're still in debate with some people. Yep, and the rest of the main menu is not really options. It's just the place where you would find my email in case you need help. But yeah, let's go back to the main menu. So there's another slot that you can press, and this one is add-ons. And we implemented this because when we designed this game, we figured that there are some options that the game doesn't really need in order to be compelling to casual gamers, to a lot of you actually, those people who love Soviet Kitchen. You might not even want the game to be like a total brain twister, and it becomes a brain twister a bit when you play Cyborg Heroes. So we decided to make an add-on for people who are really into that kind of stuff. And you can actually activate it here. And therefore, let's jump to this part of the video. Let's jump to the part of the video where we talk about the Cyborg Heroes expansion. And I have it here. And if there's this eagle on top, then it means that you backed us on Kickstarter and took the Cyborg expansion with it. Right now you cannot get it anywhere else. But you might also watch this video after having bought the game and the Cyborg Heroes expansion. And therefore I will just take this eagle off, show you what you get. This takes a second. Okay, and there you go. This is Cyborg Heroes expansion. We had to put some stuff on top of this card to make it legal, to make it usable for shops, but don't you worry, this is not a playing card. This is just a cover. So let's open this. So when we look inside this foil, then the first thing that we might have a look at is the back side of the cover, because it will give you an overview of the rules of the game, and it will also explain to you how every unique cyborg works, which comes in handy, but you will see that you will also find this information elsewhere too. So what this will tell you is that you can scan any of the cyborgs to unleash the cyborg mode. The heroes in your setup will thus be replaced with some of these cuties. And then there's Cyborg Dowell, Cyborg Jimmy, Cyborg Mike, Cyborg Dr. Sam, and finally Cyborg Trainer Judy. And let's just test one of them and see whether they do something with the app. The app is here. Can you see it here? You can see it. Yeah, let's just take Jimmy. He looks like this, for example. He's a cyborg now, he doesn't have a body anymore. He's a head in a jar, flying through space. And now he flies into our phone, and the phone will ask me, now in German, sorry, whether I want to activate instantly or activate later. And I guess you want to play with them, so you can activate right away. And now the cyborgs are on. Now the cyborgs are an option in the app. And if you want to change that, if you want to turn your game back to base mode, then you can just press this button. And it remembered that you scanned the card once, and that's sufficient. But we'll activate it and we go back into the main menu, and we see that nothing has changed yet, which is not too surprising because this is only the main menu. But Let's go through the cards for a sec. They have this hero symbol up here, and it's basically the same as it is with the classic heroes, but the background changed. And these heroes, they refer to the heroes from the main game, but they changed. They came back from the future in order to save the spaceship. And that was Cyborg Mike, this is Cyborg Dowell, this is Cyborg Judy. And there's also another card in this pile, which is Captain Hook. And she's a very, very strong female captain. And she's actually a bit different than Captain Igloo that you will find in the base game, because she will hit to the left and not to the right. And either one of them can appear in a cyborg game. So if you activate the cyborgs, you will have a chance of 50% of her being the captain in the beginning, and a 50% chance of Captain Igloo being the captain. So that's her. And I just want to make a tiny comparison for you between the old heroes and the new heroes. These three should do for now. So for example, let me just look for these. Cook Mike didn't seem to be healthy back in 1978 on the ship, and he had weight problems, but now he became some kind of super sporty guy, and he's actually cooking for everyone, and he's even squeezing lemons on his head because he's such a froop. And there's more change to the other characters too. Dr. Sam, she was always very ambitious and a very helpful person, but now that she became almost a doctorious superhero, she can even resurrect people with her electric arms and her saw and make operations on the fly. And that's why she becomes more powerful than she ever was. And last but not least, let's go back to Jimmy. I gave you an impression of him already, but also Jimmy, blue is the base game, red is the expansion. He changed for a bit. He lost his goofy body somewhere in the future. We don't know what happened to him, but now he's in a jar. And he's probably also smarter than he ever was. But maybe we can check the gameplay later. Yeah, so what we could do now is we check how these heroes affect the gameplay for a bit. And therefore I will just I will go back to English actually. And I will start a custom game. And in the custom game, area, you can decide whether you want to start a game in panic mode, which is the ordinary mode. You will get used to that one. Or if you want to try the oxygen mode, if you unlocked it already. And that's a variation where panic is something else, and where everyone's in danger to suffocate, but not for now. But both modes are compatible with the new heroes. The Cyborg Heroes are activated. We could change that to heroes, but we want to play with the Cyborg Heroes right now. We also want to play with the observers. We want to play with Doggo and these ones, Microwave and Brutus. I will keep them out for now. You could even decide whether you want to have a long game or a short game. This will change the number of cards in your hand, but I will just go for the long game. And let's see. So we should put all these cards into a pile. And what comes in handy now, but you shouldn't play like this, is that some of my cards are sleeved and some of my cards are not sleeved, so we can really distinguish these ones for demonstration issues. That's actually handy, and I'll just shuffle them into the game. And this is Team White Wormhole. And this is Team Horsehead Nebula. And this is Team Beyond Bifrost. And let's play with the fourth team, Team Violet Venus. It also plays. Yeah, and what we have to do now is we'll try to give you a better view of the situation. Maybe I can bring this up higher somehow. Okay. And here are my teams. If these ones you can see a bit. And yeah, let's just scan those cards and see where they go. So this astronaut goes to the void. This astronaut goes to the void. This one was the other way around, but it goes to the void. Another one to the void. The first card that goes to the team here. Well, you cannot really see my hands, but let me just show you that they are there. This one went here. So if you are unsure whether a card belonged to a certain team or not, for example, for example, this one goes to module 3, but then I feel like I screwed up with this one. Was it actually here, or was it somewhere else? I can take this card back again and scan it again, and it will tell me again where it has to go. Okay, so this is one of the new cards, and it says it goes to module 1. So we can assume for now that there's a hero. In module 1, this card goes to the void. This card goes to Team White Wormhole. And now we're halfway through. And when you have the expansion, it means that you will have to scan a few more cards. So the setup time is slightly longer, but therefore your game is significantly more varied, let's say. Wait, I think I made a mistake, because this one goes here, and this one goes actually here. Okay, and now there's a hero, and it will go to Team Horsehead Nebula, and another hero that will go to module 2. But we couldn't know if it's a hero or not. It's just that we know it's a hero because it's from the expansion. And Team Violet Venus is there. And the last card will go to Team White Wormhole. So there's 3 more cards in the box actually. And this one goes to Team Violet Venus, and this one too, and the rest goes to the void. Yeah, I should have taken all the cards from the box. Let's go into the game. Team White Wormhole has a captain, and I will have to look for that one. So Team White Wormhole is here, and we put the captain here maybe, so that we know that, and the rest of the cards are still unknown to us. But if we want to have more information on the setup, we can always go onto pause and look into the boarding list. That will teach us again what types of cards are in the game. So we have Cyborg Heroes, and that's important, we do not have normal heroes. Every normal hero must have ended in the void is not part of the game, because this is the version that we played. Then there's engineers, a few ones of those, dolphins, and the phone will tell you if it's 1 or 2 that hide onto the spaceship, and observers and 1 doggo, because there is only 1 doggo and there's up to 2 observers. And let's resume. Everyone gets a panic, but not the player with the captain. So Team Beyond Bifrost also gets 1 panic. Team Halstead Nebula gets 1 panic, and Team Violet Venus also gets 1 panic. Okay, so as always, as if we wouldn't have guessed that this would happen, the spaceship was sabotaged again, and 3 modules have to be unlocked, have to be opened, and there will be up to 2 dolphins on board. We can continue now, and we will go into the first spacewalk, and it will teach us. It may teach us something, but it might also be helpful because we can open a module. And in the normal game, we would look out for heroes, and they would look like this, and they have these gate symbols, and we would need one of them on one of these 3 slots in order to open a gate, and we would need 2 engineers in order to help him. An engineer looks, for example, like this, with that wrench. This is Houston from the cover, by the way. But in the Cyborg Hero mode, it's that different type of heroes, and they work a bit differently. So you can still play them at this moment, they will still open the module, but the choice that you make when they are activated is different. It's unique. Let's imagine that we would be Team Violet Venus up here. And this would be our cards. We have 1 observer. We have a dolphin. We have Susan, which is a very ordinary engineer that can hit to the right. And we also have Cyborg Jowl. And in the bottom there, you will find his ability that he can either save the astronaut, which is, by the way, totally normal, or he can take up to 4 panic, which is a lot of panic. We thought during playtest that this might be overpowered. It's interesting that the game is not like instantly won, but it will change the powers at the table, so to speak, if you play him. Yeah, I think what would be super interesting in our case, as we are the Dolphin team, which means we are actually evil and we don't want to rescue the spaceship, is I think it would be a very smart move to try and get this very first module activated by us and taking 4 panic, because we would gain a bit of trust because we help people, but also we have so much panic that we basically control the game for quite a while. So let's try that. So the captain team, Team White Wormhole, would possibly ask people whether they could play a hero, and we would be like, yeah, you know, we are super, we have a superhero and we want to play it, and it would be super nice if you would call us. And he might do that, so then it would be our turn and we would play that hero. And we would have to call someone. And so we would ask him, Team Beyond Bifrost, which is here, for example, do you maybe have an engineer that can hit to the left? And they look into their cards and they say, yeah, they have yeah, that's totally sufficient for now. So let's just ask them to do that. And they play an astronaut. And now it's Team Beyond Bifrost's turn to ask yet a third team to participate in their spacewalk. And so they ask, for example, the captain's team, because the captain, he is by itself an engineer that can hit to the right. So he might go into that spacewalk right now, but he might argue, you know, I'm the captain, I don't want to go into the space right now. It's too dangerous. If you lose me, the mission will be significantly weakened. I would rather have you ask Team Horse at Nebula. And so Team Beyond Bifrost understands and asks Team Horse at Nebula, and this guy looks into his card, and he does have engineers that would suit the job because they can hit to the right with that red arrow. So he says, yeah, fine, okay. And he plays a card. We couldn't know what card exactly that is, but we can see from the result whether what happens is what we wanted to happen or not. And yeah, indeed, the module was opened. And so we can flip this card around where it's like flashing. And this is our cyborg, and we enter the module. And we can now, as I told you earlier, we can now decide to whether to rescue that trapped astronaut from module M1, which is here, which we totally need to win the game as a human race. But remember, we are dolphins, so we don't actually want that, but we still want people to believe that we want that. But we could also take the panic and he would die, but the module will still be unlocked. So in either case, we will provide the human crew with a useful progress, but we just have to take our gain, what we want to take with us from this situation. And I want to take the panic for now, and I will take the panic, and that will make the others more suspicious than if I would have saved the astronaut, because that, you know, it seems more, this guy is now dead, he was here and now he will go into the void. It seems more altruistic, so to speak, to save him and not take these panic stones. But you could still always argue that you don't want a dolphin that could potentially be beneath this slot to endanger your mission. You know, to find yet another player who's a dolphin, which would be quite disastrous. So this is always a good point that you could note here. And now we're done. And the module is in fact detached. And this card, my hero, he will go to the void. He didn't make it. He sacrificed himself. They always do. And these cards go back to the players that played them. Now, what is interesting about this whole situation is that if we would have had another astronaut, the situation would have ended very differently. For example, if we would have had the astronaut of Team Horse at Nebula, which would have been Cyborg Mike, then we would have a very hard choice. We could take the astronaut, or we would have to distribute 3 of those panic tokens among the other players. So we wouldn't take any panic for ourselves. But if we find someone to trust, then that's almost equally strong, because someone could save our ass at some point. But in the very beginning of the game, where we are, this might not be a good choice to play, as we don't know whom to trust yet. So we can still play him and take the astronaut, of course. But later, this card is kind of a grower, and I think in the very late game it can be very strong. It's also like you can, with Cyborg Mike and his food, you can really, you know, buy someone, so to speak. You could really if someone really hates you, you could say like, okay, maybe you take my panic, because then you give all the power into his hands, and he will think twice or thrice or more often about whether he wants to kill you with this panic or not. Because why would you do that? Why would you be so nice to him? Why would you take all these panic tokens and give it to him instead of someone else? Yeah, let's look for yet another hero. Let's look for example, the cyborg that Team White Wormhole has in play, which is Cyborg Judy. And Cyborg Judy is maybe the most complex hero, because she is the only hero who can decide to leave the module in the place where it is. So the rules on the card say save an astronaut from the module, or take 3 panic and leave the astronaut in place. Which is a bit mind-boggling, as you could at first argue that it would be a good thing that the astronaut stays in place because you didn't kill him, you know, if you take the panic, you didn't even kill another astronaut, so that sounds good, right? But on the other hand, you will lose a hero, which is also a very important resource to win the game. There's only 5 heroes in the game, and we have to unlock 3 spaces. So if you use one of these heroes in order to leave an astronaut in place, you will significantly lower the chances of other players to win the game. But maybe the game is already kind of lost, in a sense that you will not win it via a reset. It's maybe already occurring to you that the game cannot be won anymore in this way, and you really, really need the panic to stay alive, or you really need the panic to revolt against the Dolphin captain, or there's so many other reasons why this card, why you would still do that maybe. And also as a Dolphin, it's super interesting because it's basically the strongest Dolphin move, but it's also a very obvious Dolphin move. Because you get panic, which means you get more powerful, you didn't help the others at all. So Trainer Judy is, I think if you play for the first time, she might leave you a bit in doubt of what to do, but when you play a few times, you will really appreciate to have her in your hand. Maybe we can talk about one last astronaut, which is, in this case, I took this card from Module 2, because in this game on Module 2, another hero would have waited to be saved, and that's Dr. Sam. And she will never gain panic for you, which is a bummer, but she can either take that astronaut to save, which is ordinary, but she, as an exception, can also take an astronaut from the void field. So usually there was a captain's phase and one astronaut was sent over the plank, one astronaut was ejected, and Dr. Sam, she really has the power to take him back, to find him in space, get hold of him, bring him back to the ship and resurrect him and add him to your team. And this is especially interesting if you have a clue of what that person has dropped. And it makes the game much more complex, because this could eventually even mean that there will be a 3rd player joining the Dolphin team. How? Because when you lose a Dolphin from your team, you will not change your faction. You will always stay a Dolphinized team. But whenever a Dolphin is getting into your team, you will be Dolphinized. So once Dr. Sam resurrects a Dolphin that was in the void, she yet adds another team to the Dolphin side. So you could even play with that as a Dolphin player. You try to bring your Dolphin in play for Dr. Sam to save it. You could even try to promote it in a certain way, because then that single human player that is left will most likely not have high chances to win the game anymore. In 5 players it's a bit different, but still the same principles. So as you can see, these heroes allow for a lot of arguments to make, or counter arguments to make against, and it's not so obvious on the very first look what they might bring to the play, but after all, mixed together, it will result in a lot of different play styles and happenings on the table. And this is what I wanted to show you. I hope you had fun with watching this video and you have a bit of a better outline of what this expansion can bring to your table. And you will see me in roughly another week, when I will also have hopefully 1 or 2 other players with me. We'll have to see how that works with the lockdown. But that's it for now, and keep up your good mood, and if you don't have good mood, develop some, because you can always make good use of it. Take care.